Laura Cathcart Robbins and Scott Slaughter here.
Hey, guys.
AKA Hun and Honey.
Hun and Honey.
We are the only ones in the room looking back at 2021 in a special bonus holiday episode.
Yeah, please join us. And we bring in the new year and look back at the last one.
Yes, we can't wait.
Enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show. I am Laura Cathcart Robbins, and this is the only one in the room holiday bonus special.
Another bonus special.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm never the only one in this room, except for Scott and I are actually in the same house, but we're on different floors in different rooms, so we're actually each the only ones in the rooms.
In our rooms.
In our rooms today.
We thought this would be easier. We're making a little video content for YouTube, so if you're listening and you want to see this, you can go to YouTube and check out our channel, the only one in the room.
Indeed you can. I just knocked over my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's the holidays, and we're really excited about this, we've done a holiday giveaway.
Oh, yeah.
And so,
this is a pretty good one. We got 3 gifts we gave away this year.
We have 3 incredible gifts.
Awesome.
I actually want to keep all of them.
Well, you can't do that, honey.
I can't do that.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to say, if anybody's out there drinking and they want to make a drinking game out of this, they can count every time that word hun or honey said and had a drink.
Oh, forget about it. They'll be drunk
I know,
by the end
that'll be
of
great.
the half hour.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for those of you watching, I'm going to show you the spinning wheel. Can you guys see? There's the first winner. Can you read that?
I can't.
You have it on your text, though.
Oh, yeah. Is it? Our first winner is, and this is for third place or first place?
The second winner is Izzy, hun.
Okay.
And then the third is...
All right, so first place winner.
Tamika Brown.
Yeah, first place winner, this is Adam Driver. What does Adam win, hon?
It's Adam Driver?
So what it says, first place, Adam Driver in my text.
That's weird.
Hey.
That means he's a really big celebrity.
Well, it could be a different Adam Driver. It could be a ghost Adam Driver.
Well, wouldn't it be cool if it were Adam Driver from A Marriage Story and Star Wars?
Adam, if it's you, we are dying to give you this in person. You could come be on the show.
Yes, we are. We're going to have his address.
What,
so that's
what
cool.
is the prize, honey?
The Voyage AC gift package.
The gift package.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Adam.
And then the second prize is a $50 Visa gift card.
Just in time for the holidays?
Right, which Izzy gets.
Way to go,
which
Izzy.
Is really cool. Izzy Barrett gets that.
All right, Izzy.
And then third place, Tamika Brown, what a treat. She gets a level 2 Patreon with us.
Oh,
with
cool.
the only one in the room. Does that mean she gets a Zoom hang with us? Or...
I don't know. I think we should do a free Zoom hang with Tamika just because.
Let's do that.
Yeah,
because we'll get to do that with her. That'll be really cool.
Tamika.
Yeah.
Zoom
so
hang.
Congratulations, Adam Driver, Izzy Barrett, and Tamika Brown.
Yep.
And happy holidays to you all. Thank you so much for entering. We do these giveaways quite often, actually. So if you're just listening, you must become a member of our private Facebook group, and then you can also find these giveaways and enter. So congratulations to them.
Yep, and we really appreciate these guys being part of our community.
Yeah,
and being a part of the giveaways as well. So thank you so much, y'all.
Indeed. And so we just wanted to spend about a half an hour with you all of you amazing listeners. I mean, just, hun, since last year this time, how many, the percentage of more listeners that we have now?
Can I give an actual number? Because
No, don't give the actual numbers.
Well, we've done over 1.5 million downloads since last year, and that's
incredible.
That's incredible in 1 year.
Yeah.
We just never thought we would hit that kind of level, and we obviously are enjoying the stories we're telling, and we couldn't be more grateful for that. So thank you guys so much.
Indeed. I mean, it's been such a journey. You know, we really were the only ones in the room when we first had this idea, and now we've had all of you with us along for the ride, and the numbers of people who are listening and giving us feedback, and the submissions the submission pile for the show is incredible, and I really do try to get through them all every month. But we just never dreamed we'd be getting submissions for people recognizing their own only one stories and wanting to share them with us.
I think that's the thing is a lot of people have recognized the story, but wanting to share them.
Yes,
that's becoming. It's really interesting because out in the world, I often meet people and they'll ask what I do, and I tell them the premise of the show, and before I'm even finished with the premise, they're already offering a story.
Only one story.
And I think that it's just such a great way for us to connect on this planet. So many things keep us apart, but our stories bring us together.
I agree, and we've decided to do this on hair washing day for me. For those of you who don't know, I wash my hair and put it in braids so it stretches it out, and I use these little things from when I was a kid. This is why you find me like this today, but I'm all in the open. Nothing is private or personal anymore, so you guys get to see me on hair wash day. And I wanted to just kind of acknowledge where we are in 2021. It's December 19th, which is a special day for you.
It is actually. Today marks 13 years I've been free from alcohol and drugs. So
that's right. That's right.
I met you a little bit before this. It's about 14 and a half years that you and I have been together.
And to hear the story of how we met, you can listen to the holiday special from 2019, which is how we met in rehab. And it's a whole special about that.
Yeah. And I couldn't be more grateful to be on this ride with you, honey. It's, I know that I couldn't do it living the life I was living 13 years ago. I think we're going to talk a little bit about the journey of you and I together and our families together, a little bit about how that's worked and become the show. And I don't know. I'm just really grateful for you, really grateful for today. Today is a really special day. 12/19 of 2008 was the day I decided to stop seeking things outside myself to make myself feel better and start building that relief from within. And it's become a fantastic, rewarding journey, a life that I really wouldn't trade for anything, a life I never could have imagined. At the time, you and I were in bed this morning talking about what it might have looked like what we thought it was going to look like 13 years ago versus what it looks like. And I'm so glad that we allowed it to just be what it is, because it's so big.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
I agree. And happy sober anniversary.
Yeah. If you're looking, if you're on the video, I receive a bracelet from Laura every year.
Wait, that's the wrong side.
Well, no, it's not.
Oh.
It's the wrong side. Sorry.
Yeah.
So this is Tiger's Eye. This is my stone. And Laura dropped me this and a special little reminder. Medallion. Yeah. So thank you, honey. I love you.
I love you too, honey. So yeah, that's probably the biggest moment of where we are right now. But the kind of umbrella moment for humanity is that we're starting to shut back down again.
The numbers are going up, y'all.
Numbers are going up. Omicron is making its moves on people, and I feel like before we weren't as personally impacted. Before there were variants of the coronavirus or COVID-19, and I mean, just someone in our family circle just tested positive yesterday. And so that has had us kind of change some things and reschedule some things. We were supposed to go to a holiday party last night, and we made the decision not to do that. It was something I was really looking forward to. But, just until we can get tested again, better safe than sorry. And I think a lot of places and people are doing the same thing.
Yeah. It's so funny because I think, everybody has a choice about how they handle things that threaten them. I have always grown up doing very active, stuff that has serious consequence. I think like rock climbing, mountaineering, skiing, all of these things. If there's a mistake made, it can be the end of that moment. And I think back on it, and I've had a really I'm a surfer now, so it's always scanning the skyline for potential problems. And I always tend to find that I take safety measures long before I put myself in a position. And it's become even more obvious during this pandemic that when I start to see numbers in other countries and I start to see things that, like you said, friends around us that are beginning to be impacted, or gatherings of people where our friends come back and say, multiple people got sick, I start to make those slight changes. And those, you always hear me playing a little on the conservative side with the parties and the gatherings and the get-togethers. And I often am not thinking about myself. I'm usually just thinking about the people that trust us, that come to us and want to be safe. Your family, your mom, your dad, think of my kids and where they go out into the world. And I just think it's important for us to remember that we have impact, regardless of how closed off we think we are from the world. Our actions have consequences. So it's an interesting time, and never thought I would live through something like this in my lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, we had tickets for the theater to see a play on Friday and got the cancellation notice just a couple hours before.
I mean, and it's so difficult to pull back. You and I have been living lately a fairly normal life. We've been meeting people for dinners. We went and saw Hamilton. I saw it twice. I took my kids. You and I went. We saw it 3 times. We took your dad.
I saw it twice with you. Yeah.
I'm a little bit of a Hamilton geek, y'all, but
yeah.
It was fantastic here in LA, by the way. But it's hard to give that up, right? Like it was really nice to step back into that world. And even though we were wearing masks and we were cautious, we were able to go out and enjoy dinner and live somewhat normal. And now we got to pull back and think a little bit more again about, what this next, few months might look like. So, yeah.
And then I'll just say that unlike 2020, when we had no idea what to do or how to do it, we are prepared now. Going to Zoom is not as difficult as it was then. Ordering groceries, masking up.
You prefer ordering groceries, by the way.
Yes, I haven't been to a grocery store in a long time.
Say the number of like months or years.
Never mind.
No, come on. I don't think you're the only.
I don't know.
I don't think you're the only one that's had this experience.
Hasn't been to a grocery store in a month or two?
Maybe a year.
Maybe no. I went to the store.
I'm begging to.
I went to the store when my dad was here.
Oh, really?
To get stuff for Miles for Thanksgiving.
Okay. Well, that's absolutely changed, right? In many of our worlds, right? Like now everybody has little mini studios at their house. They have a computer and a mic and a light, and most of the people. I was just in Troncones, Mexico, and there's this couple that I've been seeing there for the last year. They work for.
Don't say couple that you've been seeing.
Well, I mean, I just see them there. They're friends.
I know.
They've moved there and they're working remotely, and they look like they're on vacation, but they have a work schedule. And I don't know. I mean, I think that is a new thing in our society, is people are really becoming able to work remotely, and they're happy and they're productive. I think is a cool thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we could go on and on about that, but I just really wanted to acknowledge that. And because, as you're listening to this, things are closing again, and it can be discouraging.
Sporting events,
theaters, restaurants, bars, theaters.
Yeah.
But there is a path through, and it's just because we haven't done this. The people that are here on Earth right now haven't done this before. But there is a path through. It's been done before, and it'll be done again. And we just need to get to a point where everybody's not in the hospital when they catch this thing, to get to a point where it's more like the flu, I think. And then I just wanted to personally kind of look back at 2021. There's a lot that's happened this year in your life, in my life, in our kids' lives. And I won't be very specific with my kids, but, a couple of big things have happened for them. And do you have anything that you want to talk about specifically with 2021?
I don't know, honey. It's so weird. I don't know if people out there are having the same experience, but I can't quite sometimes tell 2020 from 2021. They kind of blend for me when I think about it, because I'll be like, well, that was March of last year. And then I'm like, no, that was March almost 2 years ago. We're coming up on the third year of this. It's almost like the blip in the Marvel comics. You think, like, what happened during that time,
Thanos.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I remember when the quarantine, the pandemic began, and my daughter's school shut down, and she had just finished her first year and was psyched had all her plans in place, and she pulled up to the house here with all of her stuff in her car, and we stood at the back of the car going, what's going to happen next? We both just broke into tears. We were a little bit lost about what the future looked like. She moved in for 6 to 8 months. I can't remember. And we got
in 2020.
Yeah, and then this year she's about to graduate from the same school. Graduate college. I've got a 22-year-old graduating senior at LMU. I can't believe that. When I mark the day too, we talked a little bit about my 13-year celebration and how much has changed in that time, and how fortunate I am to be a part of my kids' lives. My daughter at the time was living across the country, and since college, she's been here the last 4 years. And I don't know. It's just awesome. I think she's going to stay and go to graduate school, and I couldn't be more proud of her. She's one of those good human beings. I mean, and I'm not just saying that because I'm her dad. She is a good human being.
No, you're 100% right. She is one of those people. She's like you.
Well, she's a little better.
She's a
than
lot
me.
like you.
Oh.
She has that big giant heart like you, the curiosity like you, the travel bug like you, the desire to help and to be of service.
Yeah, it's funny.
Very much like you.
It's funny to see yourself. My other daughter, who is just about to graduate.
The one who's like me.
The one who's like you.
Yeah.
She graduated high school. She's just about to start college. She applied for all of her college.
Wait, she graduated way early from high school.
Yeah, she took advantage of the remote learning and got enough credits to step out a year early. But she's going to walk with her class.
Yes.
Which I find to be...
but I just think it's important to note that she could have walked last year.
She's an academic badass.
Yeah. And then took herself to college and started taking college credits this year.
Yeah. And she's been doing such a great job utilizing the resources that she has around her. You being one of them. She really aspires. I just think you're one of those great role models that she has. She calls you. She bounces stuff off you. Typically, I will have to find out from you what's going on with her, because you guys are in cahoots often.
Well, if it has to do with writing, then yes. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's just wonderful. I mean, how many 17-year-old kids reach out to, basically their mother-in-law and,
No, like stepmother.
I mean, stepmother.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I'm their bonus mom.
Right, but I just mean, like, in that dynamic, it's just really cool that she admires you, that she respects you, that she trusts you. She got accepted to every single college that she applied for that we know of so far.
Yeah, I mean, she is batting 1,000.
Yeah.
I don't know much about baseball, but she's hitting everyone.
Well, and I just think back to like what all kids were up against. A lot of our kids were up against at the beginning of the pandemic was like, how are we going to survive? And they tucked and rolled, and they're dealing with it. And it may not be ideal. It may not be the thing that they pictured at the time that they started the journey, but it is still a journey, and they still keep moving forward. And I know that. How proud Nora is, my younger one, is of what she's done on her own during this time where a lot of people have struggled with not knowing where they're going to go. I think she's just been a great example. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I know your kids are the same. Here we are embellishing my kids for the moment, but your kids,
Well, but before we move on to my kids, what about you?
In this last year? Well, I'm 53, and I think the hardest thing for me this last 2 years, with the podcast and I was an outdoor person, a chef. I was, I've always been a person who participates in the world in a tangible way. And, you and I being a team and me trying to figure out how I can spend more time with you is ultimately what I'm always doing, right? I'm always trying to figure out how I can be at your side without getting on your nerves. Taking on this job and this role as producer for this podcast has been probably one of the biggest gifts I've had. I don't want to learn new things at 53, but I know that it's important to keep trying. I just don't want to fall off. I don't want to lose my curiosity. I don't want to lose my ability to participate in the world. Like we talked about a little bit this morning, I want to be a part of your success and what goes on in your world, and I want the world to see you the way I see you, which is, I think, how this whole thing started. With just taking pictures of you and coming up with a logo. Right? We talked about how cool that logo would be, and I had this vision of what it should look like because I wanted the world to see the logo the way I see you, as the strong woman of color in this world that wasn't set up for you that way. And you've absolutely risen to the occasion. And it's not that I don't often have little struggles of my own with that. I like to be in the spotlight. I like attention. My work is always about recognizing that I am a part of the team and that this is the way it is because we do it together.
Yes.
And I feel like from that this year, I feel like because we have hit some marks that we just never thought we'd hit, and we've gotten some feedback that is insanely positive, and that I can move forward with that and keep envisioning that idea over and over again. And we have a video department now. We have a social media team. We have an assistant, like a admin assistant, and two interns. We're just going to keep moving forward and trying to bring these stories to people because they're important. It's important to tell stories.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and really, when we kind of at the beginning we were talking about the growth that we've experienced in listeners and downloads and subscribers since last year, that's all you, hon.
Well,
no, it is. I go out and I find the best guests possible so we can tell the best stories, but it doesn't matter if nobody hears them.
Right.
And that's what you've been doing, is putting us on blast on these different platforms. You've made the website. The website is incredible, folks. If you haven't been to theonlyonepod.com, please do so. Subscribe to our email list so you can get notified when we have giveaways again and other things.
I am really proud of the website.
The website is gorgeous, and it's really easy to navigate, and it's fun to look at, and it's full of great pictures. A lot of them are yours. You're a really talented photographer.
Thank you.
But this thing that you've done to grow the podcast is it's what everybody goes to podcast conferences and festivals for. They want to know how to grow their numbers, and you've done it. So it's really, really valuable. And, where we started in January of 2021 to where we are now in December is remarkable.
Well, yeah, it has been quite a ride, huh?
Yeah, it really has. So all that kudos to you, and all that credit goes to you. Yay.
Thank you. Well, I will say, too, not to just keep going back and forth, but you are one of the hardest working people I know, which is good and frustrating all in the same meal, for sure. I always, I think of you like that guy who's, look, I just did 25 push-ups, and you're like, good, let's do 25 more. Come on, man. But I do know that in the end, I as hard as it is I think it's just hard to keep wanting to learn at this time in my life. But the rewards that come from it, being curious, being open, that I think you taught me one of the lines that helps me the most is when I sit down with people that are really good at shit, I say, treat me like I'm in third grade. Just tell me how this works like I'm in third grade.
It's the Denzel Washington line from Philadelphia.
Oh, it's fantastic. Right.
Explain it to me like I'm in kindergarten.
Right. And that just, it takes all that bullshit away, and I can listen with curiosity, and people are usually very happy to drop the conversation into a place where I can pick it up. And yeah, I mean, again, most people are getting ready to retire at this point, and we're like, what's it going to be like in a year, So
I don't know anybody who's retiring at our age, but I think that's the dream.
Well, I think a lot of people think they've worked their hardest.
Yeah, that's true.
To this point.
They're not looking for another career.
No, and they're not looking to expand and take more on. And I think that...
Speaking of 25 more push-ups, we did the 100 push-up a day challenge for August, September, October, and most of November.
I know, right?
Yeah,
I did
we were both doing...
I did 102 days ago. I'm still doing it. I know, but honey...
I stopped.
Yeah.
But I did 60 push-ups a day up until we started the 100, pretty much consistently since February 1st of last year.
I know that inspired a lot of people. I was watching all those ladies watch you do push-ups. And
yeah, I don't think I inspired anybody to really commit to doing push-ups.
I think you did.
People enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
People enjoyed my Fitness Friday posts, and I would, I wasn't great at push-ups, and I'm still not great at them, but I kept posting it. I took the video so I could see my form. Mm-hmm. And then I figured I would post it so I could show my progress. I didn't make much progress.
Yeah, you did actually. Yeah,
I mean, kind of.
No.
I wasn't very good at them. I still kind of sway back horse in the middle, but I definitely got stronger.
If you guys have never done a 100 push-up challenge a day, start a little thread with a few of your friends. Do 100 a day. We were doing 10 at a time initially. I think I did 500 one day because I got so enthusiastic about it. But it
was ridiculous.
It'll change a lot about the way you think about yourself. It's really something.
Changes your posture.
It's something cool to accomplish.
Yeah.
It's a follow-through thing, and
you don't need any equipment.
No, and as my friend Greg Garfield says, it takes about 12 seconds.
Yeah,
literally, when you get down,
true.
When you get down to do it takes 12 to 20 seconds. So
now, for me, it was definitely more on the 20.
He said,
20-sided
"Don't say you
longer.
Can't do it because you can."
Well, and I'll just say that for me, I wrote a memoir that I started writing in November of 2020. And I finished writing the first draft in April of 2021 and turned in the final draft in June of 2021. And it was really great because I had a pretty, for me, it was a rigorous, a very disciplined schedule for writing. I wrote from 11 to 7, 5 days a week. Mm-hmm. And so taking those breaks to do push-ups was really helpful because I could get active instead of just sitting. And I would also do the Ironman, when you're laying on your stomach and your arms are back and your legs are back off the ground.
I think of it like the skydiving pose, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And so, that's one thing I did is I wrote that book.
Honey, your memoir is amazing. I cannot wait for it to be released. Even though I'm a big part of the second half, so I'm a little biased.
Yes, you're the second 2/3.
Yeah. But your story is so compelling, and anybody who's watched Laura for the last few years will know that this self-perpetuated branding and learning how to speak in front of people and how to write your own words, how to get published, how to create communities. You've been an amazing inspiration to knowing what you want, figuring out all the elements, and then putting it into play. And like I said, I've just been the one sitting there going, okay, we need this, we need that. How do I do this? How do I do that? Kudos to you for, the reality is you didn't self-publish. You sold it to a large publishing house. They bid over it.
Simon & Schuster,
shout out.
To Simon & Schuster. Uh-huh. It's actually Atria, which is an imprint of Simon & Schuster, but thank you for that.
I think you need to differentiate because I think it's easy to go and self-publish. Like, I'm not taking away from anybody who's self-published out there, but it is something different to go and, package yourself, to skip that step and to present yourself in front of these high-powered people who are used to making decisions about these types of things. And you didn't even have to pitch it. Like, by the time you got to the table, they knew about it. They knew about you.
Well, because I have a kick-ass agent.
Right.
And she
What's
is
her name?
Incredible. Her name is Rebecca Gradinger from Fletcher and Company.
Yeah, shout out to Rebecca.
And shout out to Rebecca. She's absolutely like I didn't even know that people like her existed. So yeah, I wrote the manuscript, and then she got it in front of all those people, and she got me those meetings, and it was a very heady experience. And we sold the manuscript, and it was announced, and it'll be out in spring of 2023. So I'll be working on that.
Yeah, we'll be talking more about that as we get to it. And
yeah,
it was super cool to have front row seats to that, honey. It was. I've never even imagined what it might be like, but you brought me in on every level, read me almost every chapter, and let me be a part of the process as well as be in the book.
Yes. And then just really quickly for my kids, one of them who's in what could be his final year of school. We won't know. That's right. The younger one. We'll see. But he's in the screenwriting program at the fourth ranked film school in the country. So that's pretty highly ranked among film schools. And he sold a pilot, a screenplay to a major studio. So it's very, very cool that this happened for him.
It's unheard of, honestly.
Yeah. While he's still a student.
Yeah. Let's put it into, he would be the second youngest showrunner ever in the industry. So
except for now, I don't think he will be because he turned 22.
Right. But I'm just saying it still puts it on par with something highly unusual.
It's very rare air that he's breathing, for sure. That's like the third time I've said that in the last week, but it is.
He's such a special kid, and honey, you've done so much to, just even last night helping him get out of the house.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying, you've done everything. So you've been such a great example to me about how to be a parent, because you gave him space to be that kid that could write a pilot at 22, and you didn't harp on all the things that he couldn't quite get down the way the rest of the world gets or whatever. So
yeah, that's the thing is there were a lot of things about my growing up that were challenging, but my mom and my father always encouraged me to be myself and told me that they loved myself, my authentic self. They loved that. Mm-hmm. And so I was given the message that I was lovable just as I was, from two really important sources in my life. And I think that really helped. And I took that, the discipline in my house was never physical. There was never shaming. Both of my parents were very aware of how important words are and the impact that words can have. So I grew up like that. So that's what I was that's what I tried to pass along to my children. That's what I still try to that's how I try to parent them. And my older one, has been cooking ever since he was like 8 and 9 and really 10. Like he took over the kitchen at 10.
About the time I came in to your life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was his domain then. Nobody else could really,
No, I thought we were going to cook together, and I ended up being the cleanup guy.
You ended up being a sous chef.
And not even a sous chef. I didn't even get to do that. I was like the dishwasher.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because he doesn't really use a sous chef.
He does everything.
But, he had started to create these opportunities for himself before the pandemic, where he got a residency at it's a liquor company, but they bring in people and do tastings, and it's a really major one. And he got a twice a month residency there, and he had some other big clients that he had signed and he was contracted with. Then everything closed during the pandemic, and he shut everything down, and he moved to Postmates out of his apartment.
That was crazy. I never thought he was going to get away, see that all the way through. I didn't think it was going to work when he first went into that apartment and was trying to design it like a a kitchen, I was like, oh, Lord.
No. I mean, he cleared out the whole living room. Like they have 6 refrigerators in there. They
had that smoker
crazy.
over there.
A smoker. And he did these meals that like comfort food, like fried chicken sandwiches and waffles and breakfast. And, like he was saying, there's a podcast episode where he was interviewed by one of our guests, Ariel D. Smith. And he was saying that sometimes, they would stay open until 2 just because they were having fun, cooking and doing the orders.
That's so
and
awesome.
Then sometimes they would shut it off at 11. I mean, 2 in the morning, not 2 in the afternoon. And, so now he's been catering and doing pop-ups this whole year and is getting ready to create a prospectus and a concept for a restaurant that he wants to open. And
it's going to be great.
That's going to be the next project. Yeah.
He's going to kill it.
So I'm super proud of him. I'm super proud of, both all my children, my 2 biological sons and my 2 bonus daughters. And, it is this life that you and I have built together, hon. I really am so grateful because I don't just have to exist in it. I really get to enjoy it most of the time. Sometimes it's work. We're about to go back into the podcast full swing. We've been on a little bit of a break.
Little hiatus, yeah. Little
hiatus. It'll feel like work in there in about a couple of weeks. We'll be doing something every day that is not the fun stuff, But really, the majority of the time, I feel like we're so fortunate because we get to enjoy being together. We get to enjoy our families. We get to enjoy our friends. We get to have fun together and do like date nights and trips. And we really get to enjoy this life that we're creating. And I think, if it stops being enjoyable and it starts being drudgery, then we get to look at it and see what we need to change.
Yeah.
And we can do that.
Well, and that that is a real part of it, that idea that it's such a balancing act to be, what I think of as head over heels in love with someone and work with them on a regular basis. And
that's how you think of it, head over heels in love?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, there's no question in my mind of who I'm supposed to be with or that I'm supposed or that I'm supposed to, I am that monogamous by nature person. And I think once I feel it reciprocated, and that thing you said earlier that I think is so important is for all humans is that ability to be loved authentically for who we are, and I have that with you. And I think that's a double-edged sword because authentically there's pieces of us all that need work, and I have to share that with you as well as all the good stuff. But when we do come together and we do put it on the line and we do talk about what's working and what's not working, I think we always find a way to move forward. We always, we always decide that, I always decide that, if something's important to you and I'm not quite there, I'm willing to work towards it, and I think you do the same for me. And I think that's, we were talking about this morning, after my first marriage, I felt so like I thought I knew everything about love. And 13, 14 years later, I learned so much more about what love means and what it doesn't mean. And, learning how to grow like that together and to be able to discuss things that are difficult or share things you're embarrassed about, but to know that the intention is good, and trust that process has been lovely with you. It's been, learning that at, 40 to, I always have this running joke that you don't get to be a man till you're 40, and then things you start growing up at 40. And I just couldn't be more grateful that I found you to do that with, to really grow up and get with it.
And just to kind of cap on that, and we're basically at the end of our time.
Oh, this is so much fun.
I'm 57 years old, and
she is hot, y'all.
Honey.
I'm not kidding.
And I'm not saying it for compliments. I'm not fishing. It's just that 13 plus years ago when I got sober, I thought I was too old to do this. Like I didn't have anything left in front of me that would be worthwhile. And it's such an incredible life, and the physically active part is part of it. Us continuing being plant-based is part of it, that the energy that I get from that. But just like the curiosity and vigor that I have for life, I love writing, and that was not something that I had lost that ability for a while to love it, and now I've worked my way back into it through a series of years and a lot of discipline. But I didn't imagine that at 57 I would be this happy and this fulfilled and this inspired. So if anybody is younger than that and they're thinking that 50s, your life is done, it's so not true. I'm looking forward to my 60s.
I thought it was done at 40. I had no idea how much was left, and it may sound cliche, but I really do feel like it just started happening for me in my 40s, about growth, about opportunity, about seeing the world, about experiencing the world, and then watching other people who do it that are even further down the road, making things happen they never thought could happen. It's just be careful of isolating yourself from that possibility.
Yes. And we are looking forward to 2022.
Yes, we are. You are writing.
Not 2020 again, because that's 2022, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
But 2020, we're looking forward to that, to see what possibilities it holds, and we're going to stay safe. We really hope that you all do, and keep your family safe, and just take really good care of yourselves and those about you. So we have options.
Season 12 will start in January, you guys.
Season 12, yeah.
The very beginning of the new year. We got some great guests lined up.
We do. Some great stories in the can already. We're going to get a few more in the next couple of weeks. And on my nightstand, I have some really good ones picked out for those readings on Fridays.
Yep, and we're going to be growing our Patreon. So if you guys want some behind the scenes, some not released footage, some more stuff like this, some Zoom time with Laura and I.
If you want to join Tamika Brown's Zoom time,
yeah, come on.
Join the Patreon, and we'll put you in.
We do shout outs for Patreon members too on the show.
Yep.
We'll advertise your business on the show. So
yes, we will.
Don't be afraid to join us so we can celebrate this thing together.
Yeah, and we'll put on wigs and do a dance.
She'll make me put on wigs, and she'll make me dance for you.
I will. I will. I think that's it, honey.
Oh, this has been nice, honey.
Yeah, great job.
Yeah, great job yourself. You're lovely. Are you frozen?
No.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you. I thought we were done.
No, you just shut out. Do we have a closing for anybody?
We don't have a closing, but just stay safe and happy holidays. And thank you again for listening and being such a tremendous, our listeners are the best listeners. They really, really get our show, and we're so excited to continue to bring you new episodes.
Yep. Thank you guys. And yeah, that's it. I think that's it, huh?
That's it.